All right, guys, you're back with Armchair Engineer 85. It's been a while since I've done an update on the 2015 800 XRS Renegade project that we're doing. The reason why for that was because I was busy tracking down all the parts that I needed for this, as we're doing a top end and a bottom end. And it was just a game of waiting. I had no choice. So I ended up finding a company there, and they sold a complete top end kit, and they had the best price around. And I mean, they beat everybody by at least $250, so it was fantastic. So what I got here was, I got a brand new monoblock cylinder, which is fantastic. And if you look in there, you can see all the nice cross hatching. So this is obviously a refurbished unit, and I'm really stoked about that. It's awesome. I just love looking at it, and it just makes you feel like, all right, that's good. This is going to be a great build. I got my 2 piston kits with the 2 here, and it came with the 2 wrist pins as well. And I got a full complete gasket kit. Here was the, this was the company that I dealt with, GeorgianBayParts.ca, and they were fantastic. As I said, my invoice here for this top end kit, it was $1,322.09. And that was what I paid initially up front. And what they charge is, and this includes that, is a $200 core charge, because I had to give them my original monoblock here, and they send it back to, I believe, BRP or somebody, and they basically look it over, and the best case scenario is they'll give you at max $200 for the monoblock. If it's in rough shape or it's beat up or whatever, they'll just deduct from that. Maybe they'll give you $100, $150 or $50 or whatever. Maybe it's so destroyed they won't give you anything at all, and they'll just charge the $200. I ended up getting the full $200 for my monoblock, which was awesome. I didn't think I was going to do that, because if you remember in the other videos, I had cracking, which is common in between the exhaust ports on both sides, and that's what rendered this the nickel sill liners useless. So I guess obviously they just put in brand new liners, and Bob was your uncle, so that was great. So I was dealing, like I said, with GeorgianBayParts.ca, fantastic people, and I just wanted to give a shout out to them. I was dealing with a girl named Jessica, and thank you very much, Jessica. It was a bit of a rigmarole for a couple weeks there, trying to track down the parts and the supplier, but we got through it, and everything was great, and they treated me very well. The other thing that I ended up getting was I ended up getting a used crankshaft for my 800R. I found a guy there, great price. I paid $350 for this, which is phenomenal. It's the exact same unit I needed. As you can see here, the R's had this groove on the inside bearings here, and you had to make sure that, because if you just got the regular 800 Etec, they had different timings. Basically the timing was different. The R's have a more aggressive timing, so if you were to put the wrong crank in, it would fit and everything would bolt together, but then you would find out it wasn't running right. So I did my homework and I found that out, and I'm glad I did. Here was my old crank here, and the gentleman that I bought this crank from, he was such a nice guy. He said to me, well, bring your crank in and I'll have a look at it and see what I think about it. Maybe it's all right. I know cranks, so I'm always looking for advice from people that know. So I took it into him here, and yeah, if you can hear, listen. That inner bearing here, it's supposed to be, these inner bearings are supposed to be a lot stiffer. This one's fairly stiff, but this one's really loose. These two here on the good one, yeah, they're really stiff, and they're supposed to be like that. But this one's here is really crunchy and super loose. And one thing that he noticed that I didn't notice is, if you look at this counterweight here, it's been machined and it's been taken apart. If you compare it here to the actual factory, you can see the dull black. This one here has been all machined, and maybe this is a whole different counterweight potentially. And his theory was that this inner bearing here on this side, this was split apart to replace this bearing at one point, and now this way here, this is the original, and now it's gone bad. So anyways, very interesting. This crank can be rebuilt. I looked into it. You're about $900 before taxes. So I kind of thought, okay, well, I don't want to really go that route. So I may end up selling this crank to somebody that needs a crank. Maybe they completely destroyed their crank and they want to, get a crank for cheap and rebuild it, whether themselves or not. So that's where we're going to go from here. So anyways, like I said, I'm really stoked about this. I'm going to, in the next video here, when we start assembling the bottom end, we're going to isoflex grease both the PTO and the mag. I bought these syringes off Amazon here. You can see there's my grease, so I can get the exact amount. And then I put the two-stroke oil here, the BRP two-stroke oil, because we have to do an oil bath in the cases. Here are my cases. I've been busy cleaning these up, getting the gasket surfaces ready, and just having them, you know, just spending time while I was waiting for my parts. So they're all good to go. I managed to track down the factory manual online. I went on Do Talk, and a gentleman there helped me find the factory manual online, which is perfect because then I have everything, every spec, every torque spec, everything that BRP says to do. And it's been a wonderful read, and that's what I'm going to follow as we go forward. So anyways, I just wanted to do an update on this just to let you guys know what's coming your way here in the short future. I'm going to give another shout out one last time, GeorgianBayParts.ca. You guys are the best. There was the parts list there that Jessica made up for me, and we are out. Stay tuned, guys. This is happening.